Welcome, everybody. It's the journalist Sin-seer, and today I have a very special guest, music exec, producer, Baby Paul. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Peace, peace, peace. Blessings, blessings. What's up, King?
Everything is good, man. Very blessed. Thank you again for the opportunity. Before we jump into this interview, just let the people know how you've been doing lately.
First of all, it's still the beginning of the year. I mean, we're in like March now and the tail end of March. And I just want to say happy belated birthday to my mother. She just turned 78. God
Like,
is good. At my age, in my early 50s, I'll just say that. I'm not ashamed of it. It's a blessing to still have your mother and father on the planet, you know?
absolutely.
So with that being said, I'm just saying happy belated and, just happy to be here.
I can feel you on that. My mom turned 70 on Christmas, so
Nice, nice.
great time.
Sagittarius?
What's that?
Sagittarius?
My mom?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, to be honest. She was
It's
born on
December,
Christmas.
so I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was born on Christmas, so yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up.
definitely. So we want to jump into your career and what you've got going on in 2024. You have a lengthy discography we want to jump into. Before we do that, let's take them back to where you're born and raised.
Man, born and raised in New York City. I was born in Harlem, raised in Brooklyn, like East Flatbush, Flatlands, Crown Heights. And I say made in Queens, because when my mother relocated to Queens, I was in my adolescent to my teens, you know what I mean? And that was the roots of what inspired me to not only love hip hop but want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Take us back to a day in the life of Baby Paul teenage years.
Wow. Jamaica Queens. I'll start with that. And just listening to everything from, the Cold Crush and Fantastic Four, you know what I mean? Or should I say Fantastic Five? Let me correct myself. Treacherous Three, LL Cool J, Run DMCs, Fat Boys, Houdini, all the great hip hop artists of the 80s, and just being inspired by that. And of course, when the Queens legends started really coming into it, the LLs, the Run DMCs, the MC Shans, Marleys, that was it. I was just like, all right, I love this culture, you know what I'm saying? And being that they were peers from where I'm from, in Queens, it felt real. It felt like it was something that was attainable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And fast forward, in my college years, I was working at a Mount Sinai Hospital. I had a job there that my aunt, who was manager of telecommunications, gave me the opportunity to have. So I was like transporting patients. I was, taking the blood samples to phlebotomy labs. So that was where I was earning a living as a 9 to 5er. But on the side, I was interning in recording studios. That's how I got to meet Large Professor, who's close to the same age as me, but he started in the music industry before me with the main source. You know what I mean? So, I was interning in Power Play Studios in Long Island City around that time when he was in there doing work with like Kool G Rap. I was in studio sessions with him as well as like Karis One. He was doing a Blueprint album. So that
Wow.
was my training ground. I was right in the mix of what was happening in music culture out in Long Island City and witnessing firsthand these albums being made. Eric B. and Rakim's "Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em" album. Like I said, Karis One's Blueprint album, Kool G Rap's Wanted Dead or Alive album, which to me is still one of the best albums in that era. That was like kind of he's like G Rap period is an unsung hero, but we're not gonna get into all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he was definitely someone that inspired a lot of hip hop artists after him. You know what I mean? G Rap definitely inspired people like Big Pun, Nas. The list goes on because the lyricism, you see it. You know what I mean?
Right. As an
Yeah.
intern, what were some of your job duties?
Okay, as an intern, I used to set up sessions with the engineers. We're talking about before the digital age. We're talking about in the time frame where people were still recording on 2-inch reels. You know what I'm saying? And you had to be able to work with engineers to set up the room. Load up the 2-inch reel, uh, hook up the patch bay for like the effects and all the stuff for the vocals. Because there was a patch bay on a analog control board where you used to run sound effects and all the different EQs and modules for like compression and stuff like that on vocals and music. You used to run it through a patch bay in a control board. So you had to be the one to follow the instructions of the engineer to set that up and break it down when the session was done. So that and also just being accessible to the artists if they needed something, maybe place an order of some food for them in the session, all that kind of stuff. So I was interning and just paying my dues. You know what I mean?
Right. You talked about being a part of some legendary sessions,
Yeah,
G-Rap, KRS,
yeah,
and Rakim. What are some of the moments that stand out most to you during that time?
man. I was there when uh, one of my favorite sessions was when G Rap was doing this song called "Talk Like Sex." It's a Sil Johnson sample. Lost Professor did the beat, incredible. The way he chopped that loop was fire. You know what I mean? It's a break beat that's so in your face. Anybody that got ultimate breaks and beats, if you're a DJ or you're the producer who collects the ultimate breaks and beats, it's a very familiar record. But it was the way he used it. He took a part that you wasn't thinking about at that time. You know what I'm saying? And what I liked about the way he put that track together back then was he programmed the drums. He used Cool Cool is Back, which was I think a Cool and the Gang sample. And he took the drums, programmed the drums, and then he chopped the Sil Johnson loop. And it was just crazy to me as an intern aspiring to get music, watching this unfold. It was just like mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? And then my man, Dr. Butcher, Queen's legendary DJ, one of my mentors, he um he was a DJ for G Rap along with Polo. You know what I'm saying? So he was doing the scratches and all that. So watching them make that record, it was incredible. It was incredible. Another good moment for me was hearing the original version of "In the Ghetto" by Eric B. and Rakim for the first time. Another Lost Professor record. A lot of those records he was doing for both G Rap and Rakim weren't highly recognized because he was still making a name for himself, and it was kind of like ghost producing. You know what I'm saying? Like doing the records but not fully getting the credit for it. And I was there. Like any interview you ever asking him directly, was Baby Paul one of the people you remember from that time? He'd be like, "Yeah, BP was there." You know what I'm saying? And again, I wasn't Baby Paul then. I was just one of the homies that was cool with somebody he knew when I was in the studio. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what it was back then. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's those moments that was my training ground and my inspiration to really want to be a part of the music culture. And I'm blessed to say that once I became a part of Beatminerz and I made a name for myself, all my peers, everything circled back. Like, oh, you here now? That's what's up. You know what I mean?
Right. What moment was it that you decided to, get into producing?
Well, around that time when I was interning in Power Play Studios in Long Island City, I was, working at my day job, investing in equipment, digging in the crates, buying lots of vinyl, 45s, 12 inches, albums, all types of genres of music, just learning music and studying the game and aspiring to, be a part of it and, demo my beats and stuff like that. So it wasn't until when I used to hang out with Mr. Walt, we got cool because in Jamaica, Queens, he used to work at Music Factory, which was a record store. And that's how we became friends. I used to come in there fresh out of Power Play Studios with advanced copies of albums, and we got cool because he's like, "Oh, this he know the music, okay?" You know what I'm saying? And then I met Evil D, his brother. Shout out to Mr. Walt and EVD, like I said, and that's how we all bonded. And it was an organic form of a union. You know what I mean? I didn't like ask to be a part of the Beatminerz. I just became a part of it because I was in the mix. I was there and I was sharing ideas, and they saw my passion and my digging in the crates, energy, and all of that. So we just bounced off each other, sharing ideas, and I contributed a couple of ideas that made it to that first Black Moon album, but I didn't take any credit. You know what I'm saying? And then fast forward, by the time the Smith and Wesson album opportunity came around with Duck Down and Nervous Records, and I was in the studio in D&D Studios. I was playing beats in the studio on a little radio, and that's how I still got familiar with. Oh, you make beats too, okay? And then he started coming by the crib and checking out my ideas and seeing all the crates of records, and was like, yo, I want to do some demos with you. And then we demoed a couple of records that led to what became the Smith and Wesson album. Like my songs were demos, the ones I contributed on that first album before it made the album, and then the rest of the album was produced by Evil D and Mr. Walt.
Right.
So my part of the Beatminerz union really formulated on the Smith and Wesson album.